This one's for all my backsliding Christians who are feeling overwhelmed with guilt and shame. It has been incredibly hot here lately, so much so that the grass is starting to die. And so we've been letting our horse and our donkeys out into our yard during the day so that they have more grass to graze on. And yesterday, our mule, Ruby, she slipped through a hole in the barbed wire fence. And when we found her, she was pacing back and forth along this fence, trying to find a way back in. She couldn't find a way in, and so then she wound up being stuck right on the outside, looking into what she used to call her home. See, she must have thought that the grass was greener on the other side. I think a lot of us get caught in that trap sometimes. But instead of staying out there and grazing on the greener grass, she found herself wanting to go back home. And at first, I'm sure she probably thought, well, I'm not running away. I'm just going right over here, just on the other edge of the fence line. It's not that big of a deal. I'll still stay close by. But then once she got there, she was trapped. If you relate to that story, let me tell you the good news. God always leaves the gate open for his kids. You may have run 100 miles away from home, or you may just be right on the other side of the fence. But either way, he's made a way for you to come back in. He's made it so that you can always come home. Remember the story of the prodigal son? He realized that the grass wasn't greener on the other side. He realized that he wanted to go home. And he thought, maybe, just maybe, if I beg my father for a job, he'll let me stay. But the story says that while the son was still a long way off, his father ran to him. You don't have to be ashamed to come back home, because God's left the gate open for you the whole time. He wants you to come back, and he wants you to feel welcomed in doing that. You don't have to be ashamed. You don't have to feel guilty. That's a trick of the enemy to try and keep you from your father. Meanwhile, God is sitting there waiting for you with the gate open and the light on, so that when he sees you on the horizon, he can run to you. And if you don't believe me, if you feel like there's no possible way God could forgive you for what you've done, try it and see. Prove me wrong. But I can promise you that you won't be able to prove me wrong, because his very name is forgiveness. If you're interested in learning more about subjects like this one, I have a podcast you should check out. You can find it in my profile.